Weed, pot, Mary Jane, and 420. These are all just some street names for marijuana. Medical marijuana is a Class 1 drug that is causing many problems within our government. There are a few states that have legalized medical marijuana and thus creating an unsustainable government for us. The people need to decide on rather than fight with the government if it's legal or illegal, if it's a crime or not a crime. First, we will see the Class 1 drug definition. Next, we will debate on state versus federal power. And finally, we will talk about the drug being brought down a class or two, making a more sustainable government for us. Let's take a look at the classification. Marijuana is a Class 1 drug. It has high potential for being abused and no medical use, according to American RSD Hope Foundation. Marijuana is and can be used for medical use. It has been being used according to Procon since 2900 BC. Now, whether this is true or not, no one can be sure because, well, no one was there. Side effects of Mary Jane. According to the Foundation of a Drug-Free World, some short-term side effects are anxiety. Long-term effects are personality and mood changes, not being able to understand or be coherent and think things through clearly. These side effects can happen with drugs doctors give you in doctors' offices or ERs. Now that we know the classification of the drug and what the side effects are, let's take a look at state versus federal power. So, state versus federal. For every 60,000 plants sold, you receive the death penalty, says PBS A More Perfect Union. Harborside Health Center sells medical marijuana. The owner has sold so much medical marijuana, he can receive the death penalty twice. But it's perfectly legal where he's selling it, which is California. This is a classic case of federal power versus state power. So how can it be legal and illegal at the same time? Well, it's legal for states because they passed a bill or a law saying that you can sell it in proportions, where in a federal power, they can say you sell this much and you receive the death penalty. This is creating an unsustainable government for us. State versus federal power is causing the government to become more unsustainable as we speak. So, what can be a solution? Well, bringing marijuana down a Class 2 or to Class 3 to make the substance, to make a more sustainable government for us. The definition of the class. According to the Office of Division Control, substances in Schedule have no currently adapted for medical use in the United States and have a high potential for being abused. For example, heroin, LSD, cannabis, and methamphetamine. Why should it be brought down? It should be brought down because some of the same side effects you have from marijuana can be some of the same side effects you can have from drugs from the ER or doctor's office or even within surgery, creating a less unsustainable government. So creating a better government when we bring this drug down a class. What would happen if it's brought down a class? People can legally medicate themselves without living in fear that they're going to be caught and sent to jail because they're trying to make themselves better and less sick. The jailing rate would be going down and down and down because the class of the drug went down. And when the class of the drug went down, the severity of the punishment would go down also. It would help our government to become more sustainable instead of states passing laws where it's legal on a state level but illegal on a federal level, according to removing the marijuana from the Controlled Substance Act. There is a lot of hatred and heated debate on what to do about this being legalized in states but not on federal level. There will always be people that abuse the drug and even more who need it medically. Moving marijuana down a class can possibly help create a government that is more sustainable for us in the future. In the end, we know marijuana is a Class 1 drug. Next, we saw state versus federal power and how state power and federal power are fighting over what to do with marijuana. And finally, we learned the possibility of a solution for it is bringing marijuana down to Class 2 or 3 drug. Now we know what this drug marijuana can do to us and to our government.